Greetings, crewmates. It's me, Captain Breadian, from the underrated Roblox naval game Tradelands. And today, we're taking a look at one of the greatest horror games on Roblox at this time. Or rather, one that has the potential to become the greatest. What I'm saying here is that the game isn't done yet, so I don't want to glaze a game that isn't even out yet. But what I'm seeing here is potential. I see more potential in this game than a Roblox developer sees in children. Today, we're diving into the demo for a game known as The Deep End, the long-awaited sequel to the critically acclaimed Roblox FNAF fan game / FNAF adjacent Far From Land. It features rust, still water, submechanophobia, thalassophobia.
It has been 7 months since your last shower. Get off of the game, you stink!
Sexy animatronics. I mean, TikTok is gonna have a field day with this game. I'm Breadian, the guy who talks about niche Roblox games, and in this video I'm going to be covering the demo of The Deep End, as well as going in depth, get it, about its prequel, Far From Land, since I wasn't able to cover the game previously. For those of you who did not play Far From Land when it released 2 years ago, which is a lot of people, by the way. The game was a FNAF fan game that was oddly reminiscent of other FNAF fan games, such as Five Nights at Candy's or Five Nights at Treasure Island. As stated before, while Far From Land was critically acclaimed, it was a single-player Roblox horror game. Therefore, it was not popular at all, at least compared to its peers. So I'm going to do the FNAF YouTuber thing and just talk about the game's lore to catch you up to speed, but if you're interested in playing it for yourself, please check the description of this video and not only the link to the game, but also the wiki. After doing that, please come back to this video and then like and subscribe so I get like the second view. The protagonist of Far From Land is Captain Malcolm, an unlucky guy forced to deliver FNAF-esque robots across an ocean for a company called Celadon Logistics. These robots came from Project Genesis, an AI experiment gone horribly wrong. Like it was a massive failure and a waste of money. They made a bunch of robots, but their AI was faulty. After all, this all happened in 1999. We can't even get killer robots in modern day 2025. Yet. If this video does really well, I will take the profit and put it towards buying a Tesla bot so that I can play Five Nights at Freddy's 4, but in real life. And if the Tesla bot catches me, instead of jump scaring me, it tickles me. Please don't skip the ads on this video. Oh, by the way, totally forgot. There was a robot named Shadow Marcus, and he killed some people. So the original company, Marcus Robotics, declared bankruptcy. And nobody wanted to buy their doo-doo-ah robots. So they asked Celadon Logistics if they could just dump their shit in one of their warehouses until somebody bought them. Eventually, a company named Sonorix decided to buy the robots, so they all get packed into a ship, leading into the events of Far From Land. Throughout the game, Malcolm, like all survival horror protagonists, fended off the killer robots using clever tricks such as a flashlight, a motion detector, holding his breath, playing a foghorn sound effect, forcing one of the robots to take a shower.
Oh my god, just take a shower!
Beating the other robot with a wrench. Using the shower causes the Marcus Plarkus robot to short circuit. But you know what I do? I whip my dick out and I piss on it. You know, I understand that Malcolm is just an employee, so he isn't allowed to destroy the cargo since they're considered assets for his employer. And if he damages them, he'll probably be fined. But then why is he allowed to smack one of the animatronics with a metal wrench, but not the other ones? Is it because the game's creator threw in the wrench combat mechanic at the 12th hour, presumably so that the Marlin robot isn't too similar to the Manta robot? I mean, they are the least interesting looking animatronics. They basically do the same thing. They have boring names, they're ugly, the game creator doesn't even like one of them, they're named after boats in Tradelands. Speaking of, the gameplay. The gameplay of Far From Land is wonderful. Despite growing up on the internet and having a prominent FNAF phase, I don't typically enjoy FNAF-esque games, specifically the ones that involved power as a mechanic. I feel as if it grew too stale with the amount of oversaturation in the niche. Far From Land, like its name suggests, seems to try to drift away from its origin when it comes to mechanics. For starters, the game isn't a matter of waiting around until 6 AM to win, instead opting for you to actively drive the boat to your destination as your main go. And you can't just set the boat to autopilot either. You have to voluntarily turn your back to all danger and man the wheel with your undivided attention. the game isn't a matter of waiting around until 6 a.m. to win, instead opting for you to actively drive the boat to your destination as your main go. Main go, main go, main go, main go, main go, main go. Since Far From Land does not have cameras, the player will need to watch their motion detector and listen in for distinct audio cues that will warn the player of imminent danger. These sounds can be easily covered up by the alarms the ship makes when it's in need of repairs, effectively testing the player's ability to concentrate on multiple objectives at once. After the ship has reached its destination at port, the player is tasked with post-voyage levels, where they have to perform routine maintenance in other decks of the ship while being hunted by Manta or Marlin, akin to those free roam bits in Five Nights at Treasure Island. The first time I played this game and saw the introduction screen with the simple text saying, "You are not alone," I was admittedly a little spooked. Too bad the enemies themselves are not that interesting nor frightening. Admittedly, the game tries to keep the first enemy out of sight to prevent the demystification, much like the Xenomorph for the shark in Jaws. But then the level with the broken metal pipes comes along, and this thing is constantly in your face, and you're just beating it to death with a metal wrench, so it really loses its edge. It just becomes this beta cuck that's reduced to a mild annoyance. Bro, hop off my dick, I'm trying to do my 9 to 5 here. On the 5th and final night / voyage, your player encounters the Kraken, a mysterious amalgamation of human body parts, but he's also an animatronic. He's like Ennard from Sister Location, but instead of using mechanical parts, he uses your foreskin to build himself. His face even kinda looks like Ennard. No. And his eyes glow purple, because it's FNAF. Kraken is the big bad of this game, and upon completing the final voyage, he encounters Malcolm in a cutscene, telling him not to destroy the ship with all the murderous animatronics on board. By this point in time, the player has already discovered that Malcolm's brother was the security guard for the Celadon vault where the animatronics were originally stored before the events of Far From Land, and he was killed by them. So Malcolm refuses to listen to the Kraken and decides to crash out. By the way, the Kraken is actually Shadow Malcolm, the animatronic that caused the original killings at Marcus Robotics. They did the FNAF thing, you see, they changed the characters' names between games. Maybe it's to sell plushies, maybe it's to show a thematic change, or maybe it's just that they can write another wiki page for him. I don't know. But I'm gonna go with the second one. Why? Because Far From Land was effectively a transition from old to new. Now bear with me now. You might blow when I tell you this. I unintentionally omitted this information from you before, but Far From Land was a sequel to Five Nights at Marcus 2. What the fuck is that? It's a campy FNAF Roblox fan game where the animatronics wore Roblox accessories. Far From Land is a slow thematic transition for the Marcus franchise. After completing the final voyage, the game throws one last voyage at the player. A part 2, if you will. The Kraken presumably destroys the 3 animatronics on board that were considered too campy and jolly, and uses their body parts to upgrade Growler and Scrap. By upgrade, I mean he turned them into deteriorated variants, effectively removing their campy Roblox parts and making them much more frightening. Scrap is an excellent upgrade. He literally looks like a rotting corpse at quick glance. Growler basically becomes pink mangle and climbs on walls and shit. Gone is the bacon-haired endoskeleton. Gone is the Marcus who's too scared to take a shower. And gone is the French fry hair who creeps in through the vent. And hopefully Marlin and Manta died from blunt force trauma to the head. The Kraken is quite scary. He literally rips the player's arms off like Chewbacca in the Star Wars Lego video game. You avoid him by listening to his audio cue and proceed to hold control while you maintain eye contact with him. He tries to look away, you keep looking at him, he blushes and runs away. Yeah, it happens all the time. There's this really frustrating glitch / bug on the final night where if there's a maintenance issue that isn't consisting of the ship's integrity, aka the shower or the foghorn needing to be repaired, if you go to fix it, there's a decent chance that the game won't let you fix it. This completely breaks the flow of the game and can / will get you killed. And by the way, if you decide to rage quit, I left the game and rejoined, maybe I thought it would work, then the game sets you all the way back to the very start of the final voyage. There's no checkpoint for the Kraken night. I genuinely considered turning off the game when this metal pipe shit kept happening, but I pulled through and beat it just to get the ending because, you know, I'm a YouTuber. At the end of the night, Malcolm crashes the ship into a large, rocky landmass, causing it to break apart and fall to the bottom of the ocean. The transformation of Shadow Marcus to the Kraken, the chopping of the other 2 animatronics, and the sinking of the ship all effectively set the tone for the sequel, The Deep End. We are no longer in a game about silly little Roblox Marcus. We are now in a true world of horror, where the bright and old have now deteriorated into something more sinister Now we reach the deep end, a demo for the next game that came out this week. This demo, despite being quite short, encapsulates the setting, tone, and premise of what's to come. A follow-up to Far From Land, the deep end drops you into the wreckage of the Celadon Pearl after Captain Malcolm crashed it. Presumably, the deep end takes place well after the events of Far From Land, as the wreckage is not just corroded, but dried out, and it appears to have functional electricity installed as well. You know what's funny? I just realized the name of the boat is called the Celadon Pearl, but the abbreviation is capital C, capital L, capital P, because they can't just put Celadon Pearl. If they tried to abbreviate it, it might be a little bit scary. An alternate ending of Far From Land shows a cutscene set 79 years in the future, where Sonorix discovers the location of the wreckage. This is allegedly a cutscene for another spin-off game, Genesis, which makes sense because why would you tease the ending to a direct sequel in an alternate ending that barely anybody tried to achieve? What is this, FNAF? On the other hand though, it is perplexing. Was this actually a teaser for the deep end as well? Does the deep end take place 79 years later as well? Because why would somebody find the wreckage, drain it, add power, and then dump it back into the ocean to find 79 years later? Or perhaps the ship split in half, and one half ended up beached on the rocks, the other half ended up at the bottom of the ocean. Anyways, the game consists of the player navigating the remains of the Celadon Pearl, which is oddly reminiscent of Resident Evil 7. Actually, let me ask the creator if he was inspired. He was. Unlike its predecessor, the deep end gives the player much more freedom of movement. Part of me is a bit saddened by this since I enjoyed the unique point-and-click gameplay that's so unique to find on Roblox. Growing up, I was just a big fan of point-and-click adventure games, specifically the horror ones, and I might even make a video about them, but I'm a Roblox YouTuber. I'm kind of in that box right now, so. The game makes it apparent that you're not alone, and eventually you encounter a monstrous figure that is assumed to be the Kraken, because who else would it be? The Kraken seems to have become less machine-like and more monstrous and decayed, not only from the human remains deteriorating, but the effects of being left at sea to rot. Its eyes are no longer purple, instead black and white. Despite this, the Kraken isn't quite presented as much of a threat in the demo. He just spends the time trolling the player, stealing the key in the maintenance room so that you have to walk all the way through the vents and spend more time playing the game. I mean, game is game. Get your playtime. This game could really use a boost in the algorithm. He also does this shit where he's like appearing as a PNG on your screen when you have to activate the generator when it's finally time to leave. The Kraken doesn't even kill you. He just silently sneaks up behind you at the end of the game, jump scares you, and then throws you all the way across the room. Because I guess we really are in Resident Evil now, where we just throw people away from us instead of killing them. God, it's like the creator knows that the majority of people who know about this game are watching a YouTuber react to it.
Yo, bro, I couldn't even stay inside the lines and color.
Bad at coloring inside the lines when it came to school shit.
Yo, this dude below me has a similar experience.
Is that why this is in the game? Is that why? Why didn't he just bite of 87 hit? The Kraken is assumed to be the main antagonist of the deep end, and I really hope they subvert expectations here because he really does not seem all that mysterious or interesting, at least in terms of story and design. In terms of the design, I wish they played into the deep sea aesthetic for him more. He looks very generic, just the typical FNAF animatronic. Far From Land interested me so much because by adding in the ocean aesthetic, it gave new opportunities for creativity other than just adding a bunch of withered holes and sharp teeth onto an animatronic like, you know, FNAF does. I thought that in the deep end, they'd play into the sea creature angle more. Perhaps they'd give him some extra limbs or something from the spare body parts to make him become like a real Kraken. The most I see of this is just some aquatic fins on his back in the promotional material, but since they're on his back, I really didn't notice them while playing the demo. I'm really not a big fan of the design overall. He's not very imposing, especially when you introduced him so early. He's just this tall, skinny guy, and I get it, I like tall, skinny men too. Genzoms is a prime example. He's 6'2" with virtually no muscle mass. It's cute. But this isn't exactly good for horror. I feel like if I hit the Kraken with a wrench, he would fall over. He might shatter when he hits the floor too. I have a theory. The director for The Deep End is secretly a genius. He intentionally introduced the main antagonist early on, portraying him as weak and bland, so that we all expect to see this version of him in the final game. However, when the full game releases, the player will progress through the game expecting some twink to show up. But as the game progresses, the Kraken will gradually become stronger and more terrifying. I mean, Why else would you reveal the design so early if you were trying to keep it secret in the demo? Due to the lack of human body parts to use, the Kraken will eventually resort to assimilating with the barnacles, the marine life, and corroded parts of the ship in order to stay alive. My theory is, the reason why he threw the player away instead of killing him, it was all to make the Kraken seem weak and incompetent. Ultimately, the player's undoing will be their own overconfidence. Or maybe you could just say that the Kraken was too weakened to kill him, but not weak enough to throw him across the room, whatever. This all adds up to the impression that the Deep End will be a cautionary tale. The Kraken, or Shadow Marcus, was labeled as a failure, and then tossed aside to rot in a warehouse. But he then orchestrated the murder of the Night Guard, which caused Sonarix to quickly buy the robots before they were destroyed for being connected to the murders. It was a strategic move to draw attention to him to get him out of that warehouse. In Far From Land, after the Kraken finds out about Captain Malcolm's plan to crash the ship and send him to the bottom of the ocean, the Kraken actually sympathizes with Malcolm and lets him go, just telling him not to do what he wants to do. Don't come back. He doesn't want him to just take the robots and push them to the bottom of the ocean. He doesn't want to leave them abandoned and forgotten like he had before. Because the last time this happened, Kraken had to kill someone to get out of it. And if Malcolm leaves them to be forgotten again, then Kraken will have to resort to violence again. Maybe there's gonna be like some stereotypical cutscene like Malcolm's like, "You bastard! You killed my brother!" And then Kraken would be like, "I understand you're very broken. We've both felt that. But that means you of all people must understand why I was forced to do such a thing." I wrote this on a sticky note at work, by the way. Oh my god. And that's probably exactly what happens. At the end of the game, Kraken kills the player. There's a missing person search. Ends up with Sonarix finding the wreckage of the ship, salvaging the robots, and that leads into the next game, Genesis. Script revision. The creator said that the alternate ending is not canon. The narrative of The Deep End will likely explore issues such as feelings of abandonment, self-improvement, and unaddressed inner demons. Don't take your issues and hide them away because they'll just come back stronger and scarier. The feelings of loneliness eventually consumed Shadow Marcus, which led him to not only kill, but take body parts of humans to make himself feel more human. Shadow Marcus possesses an unnatural level of intelligence compared to the other animatronics, which is likely why he feels so ostracized. He belongs with the humans, not with some faulty animatronics. It's like being the only Sigma in a room full of betas. Or being the only dude in the friend group who puts the sunflowers behind the pea shooters. And you know what? No matter how many times Kraken/Shadow Marcus was dumped off, he still came back stronger than ever. And that's my boy. Are you sad because your girlfriend dumped you? You need to self-improve now. Did the Kraken ever post a black screen on Snapchat when he was sad? Did the Kraken ever go on Do Not Disturb or Invisible on Discord when he got sad? Hell no! He came back stronger than ever. While writing this video, the creator of the game actually did accept my friend request, but I'm too scared to talk to him because I fear that he might debunk my theories. I don't want to get to know him as a person, I just want to observe him like a zoo animal. The lore of The Deep End is not just captivating, but it has potential to be an outstanding narrative. The series has shifted into a much darker, mature tone, and the fact that it's single player means the audience will have a bit more patience and nuance than your average Roblox horror game. Put simply, this game has potential to become a real modern classic, if you will, in this new age of Roblox horror. By the way, my name is Breadian. I've been playing Roblox for 14 years, and I've been making YouTube videos covering underrated Roblox games for 5 years, with not much growth. Please subscribe, suplex the like button, and of course, check out my channel. I'm sure you'll find at least one video that you'll like.